David's troubles. 2 Samuel 14 through 19. Absalom was one of David's favorite sons. He killed another of David's sons, his evil brother Amnon. Then he fled, staying away for 3 years. David mourned for Absalom while he was away, but refused to see him when he returned. After 2 years, Absalom sent for Joab. When Joab would not come, Absalom set Joab's fields on fire. He told Joab, "Get David to see me. Tell him, if there is sin in me, then let me be put to death. But get him to agree to see me." When David met with Absalom, he forgave him. Then Absalom plotted against his father, David. He went to the city gates, and if any man came with a problem for David to hear, Absalom would sympathize with him and promise justice if he were a judge. In this way, Absalom stole the hearts of David's people. At the end of 40 years, Absalom told David he was going to Hebron to sacrifice. Instead, he gathered people about him and had himself proclaimed king. When David found out, he fled Jerusalem, taking his household with him. Zadok, the priest, brought the ark with them, but David sent him back to Jerusalem with it. David said to Zadok, "If I find favor in God's eyes, he will bring me back. If not, then I will not return. I will wait at the river crossing for a message from you." Then David was told, "Your advisor, Ahithophel, is on Absalom's side. He will advise him now." So David prayed to God, "Please turn his advice to foolishness." God answered David's prayer through Hushai, a faithful friend of David, who agreed to stay behind and give Absalom bad advice. Absalom moved into David's house in Jerusalem. Hushai arrived there saying, "Long live the king! Long live the king!" Absalom said, "Why didn't you go with David? Is this your idea of friendship?" Hushai said, "Only the man whom God has chosen is my friend. I will serve him." This made Absalom happy. Absalom asked Ahithophel for his advice. Ahithophel said, "David and his men will be tired and weak. Let me take 12,000 men and pursue David tonight. The king will be easy to kill. We shall bring the others back here, and there will be peace in Israel." Then Absalom asked Hushai for his advice. Hushai said, "David and his mighty men are all warriors. They will have left the women and children in a safe place and lie in wait for you to pursue. Wait until you have an army which you can lead yourself. All Israel will back you." God had this advice sound best to Absalom, because God wanted Absalom to be defeated. Hushai sent a message to David, telling him what was happening. 2 loyal men started off to David with the message, but were seen. Absalom quickly sent soldiers after them. The 2 men went to a house which had a well in the courtyard. They climbed down into it, and the women who lived there covered the well with a small pile of grain so no one could see the well. The soldiers came, looked around, then went on. When they failed to find the men, they returned to Jerusalem. The message got to David, and he and his followers had time to cross the Jordan to safety. When Ahithophel saw his advice was not followed, he saddled his donkey, went home, and hanged himself. With his people safe, David divided his men into 3 armies. He told each commander, "Deal gently with my son Absalom." They fought Absalom's men in a forest, and more men died because of the forest than by the sword. Absalom was chased. Riding fast, his donkey went under a tree, and Absalom's head caught in the branches. The donkey ran out from under him, leaving him hanging there. A man told Joab, and Joab asked, "Why didn't you kill him?" The man repeated David's command to protect Absalom. So Joab found Absalom and stabbed him in the heart with 3 short spears, then buried him in a pit in the forest. David's men rejoiced at the defeat of Absalom, but David mourned. "Oh, my son, Absalom! Oh, Absalom, my son, my son!" Joab said, "You are turning our victory into mourning. You are shaming the men who fought for you. You love the one who hated you and hate the ones you should love? If you don't stop crying for Absalom, all your men will leave you." So David stopped crying and went to the city gates where all could see their king alive and well.